Hello, storyteller. Storytelling around. This is just a babbling video. A tooting my own horn. I want to toot my own horn. Tooting my horn. Tooting my own whatever. So this is about For the Lord RPG and how much fun I am having with this game. I feel like I am cheating Jesus. Hear me out. I am doing a ministry that feeds my worldly addiction of role-playing games or whatever, but it's for the Lord. And I'm an RPG guy. That's like in my DNA. That's what I love to do. That's what I always kind of go back towards. My writing has been sent because of the RPG. I can write in the RPG. I can create all kinds of things in the RPG. I'm a tinkerer. I'm I'm good at many things, but not great at any one thing. I'm good at so many things, and that's what an RPG game master is. A game master is someone who's really good at a lot of different things, but not great at any one. So I can do artwork, I can do music, I can put together things, make stories. I think my story writing is pretty good though, like close to great, but definitely not a great marketer. But I mean, read one of my books and decide for yourself. But and I'll show you that. I'm just going to go through like what I'm doing and how much fun I'm having at it. I'm really joyful and grateful for this path I've taken. Forced down, or we're being sorted today in the end times, whatever it is. Moving away from the regular RPGs, the pagan RPGs, I just watched a video too where they were talking about Shadow Dark, and they're just saying how you could do two things. You could either save the world or go around adventuring and for money and upgrading your stuff. But the whole save the world thing is pretty much that as well. I mean, you're trying to stop some evil lich from destroying the world, but it's really just so you could get money and riches and upgrade your stuff. I mean, sort of the same thing. In this game, you're giving up stuff. You're in For the Lord RPG. There's a third thing. You can do save the world and get rich in For the Lord RPG. Those two things. You can absolutely do those two things in there. But you always, as a Christian, you'll always turn it towards For the Lord. But in this game, you can do more than that. The rules in my game are OSR style. They're very, you can do all kinds of stuff. There's magic and spells and all that in it, and faith and blessings and upgrades and magic, sort of magic items and stuff. You can do all that. And it's great the way you can do it too in my system. And I don't have a cap on levels or anything like that. It might get unwieldy for some of you because you have so many die ranks and dice, but I as a GM, you're not overpowered. I can still let you keep going that way. If you want to be that crazy with your character, and I as a GM will not be that worried about it. As far as like your character being able to say overpower everything, I can still throw rats at you, and it could cause a problem for you. That's the great thing about this game. So, even if you're 50th level, okay. So, what I really like is that when I'm looking at the game here, so I'm just sort of enjoying the view here. What I really like is that you can evangelize and convert the people to Christianity, and that's a wonderful experience in a game. No one does that. Like in the regular pagan games, you save them, and they're grateful, but do you actually change their mind about things? Do you actually? And it's based on history. It's based on real stuff. The entire premise of medieval history that we so love and adore, that we all want to go vacation. We all want to go vacation to Italy, England, Greece, France, Spain. Why? Because they're Christendom. We don't want to go to Africa. I mean, it's cool to see the safari, but we don't want to go see any of the civilization or the history there. We don't want to go to Russia, technically. I mean, there's some little bit of history there. There is some Orthodox, but historically it's been mostly Marxist and all that. Asia, I mean, there's some interesting things about paganism in Asia, but where we really want to go in Asia is Korea, Japan, which Christians went in, defeated, and then let them clean it up and set up their, a nice nation that's welcoming. Everywhere that we want to go has Christian influence. And obviously the biggest place we want to go is the cathedrals. Wherever the cathedrals are in the cities in Greece, in churches, in Italy, in Germany, we want to go where the cathedrals are. We want to go where, I mean, and I'm saying statistically, there obviously there's different places you want to go to, but the strength of it is that Christendom, that history of, and what is that? What is it that we're looking at here when we see Christendom? We see people glorifying God in the world, like creating cathedrals or building things or art or creating a culture, a civilization that you can actually go to and see and enjoy, and buy things, and the wines and the oils and the jewelries and all these things are people who are joyful in their lives and live in a civilized church culture. And God wants you and me to own our own property. That's thou shalt not covet, thou shalt not steal. Those two commandments are about, from the king down to the priest down to the thief, cannot take away my rights. That's what the 10 commandments are about. My right to live, my right to create things and own them, and a king cannot come and take them. The king and the pauper have to follow the same rules if you live in a land that is part of a church. Paganism, no. The king can be a dictator and a tyrant and can take your land by force or by fear, by murder, by torture. In a pagan world, you're like, I'm a good pagan, or I don't have to be Christian. I can be good. Yeah, you can, but you can also be evil. In a Christian land, I'm evil. Well, yes, Christians can be evil, but that's wrong. Like, other Christians will rise up and say, hey, you're wrong. In Christianity, there's a leash, a limit on the power that we all want. In Christianity, the church is in the land to just tamper down evil, not erase it. The Bible says we'll never erase it. But the church is the civilizing force to subdue evil enough so that we can have a wonderful life here, to then spread the gospel even more. The whole point of that. The church is essential in Christianity. And the New Testament is all about church building and evangelism. And that's what I'm a little annoyed by what kind of history we have today, that as Christians, that we're not really doing that anymore. We're sort of we're talking about ourselves. I mean, there's plenty going on. And on my Instagram feed, I'm seeing a lot of revivals. It's kind of cool. But I guess I'm focusing on the RPG culture and the entertainment culture, especially the Christian entertainment culture. There's no evangelism in the stories, and evangelism is a huge part of Christianity and of history, of our history, and we're ignoring that. And all the movies and stories about the past and erase that. Think about it. In Christian lands, it's all about, there's churches everywhere. Well, where do those churches come from? Well, we don't have any movies or stories that tell us. And that's frustrating to me, because they're everywhere, in Christendom. There's a church everywhere that you go on your vacation, because you're going to places you want to go to that are based off of Christendom. And we don't have any movies or stories about those. We don't have any stories about how these churches were built, how they had to fight against the paganism, or how they had to come into the villages and against whatever powers that were and build it up. There's no stories like that, and yet that's the essential part of church. And then churches probably floundered and then had to revive, and paganism has always been part of medieval Europe. So there's paganism is the default all over the world, but in Christendom, the difference is there's a church, and we just don't have those stories at all. It's being erased, right? And the RPG culture doesn't have any Christendom. It's being erased. I mean, there are some Christian motifs in these games, but there's no actual real Christians, like evangelism and church planting. And that's the essence of it. I have gotten kids in this game to speak the word, the gospel. Terribly, but still, they did it. Not even terribly, cutely or whatever, but they did it. Like, when has a kid ever spoken the gospel or tried to? When has a kid ever worked? When have you and I ever worked it out on our tongue? The words of the gospel coming out. That is what Jesus, the Great Commission is exactly what Jesus wants us to do. But when have we ever actually done it? This game is about getting that you into that mindset just over and over and over, so that you can have fun doing it. It becomes, in order for me to be good with my weapons, you have to just drill all the time. You have to drill, and then become second nature. This game is about that, getting you and me to drill, but it's fun. It's so fun. because you're going up against crazies and sillies, and the GM can make fun of it, and I have twisted humor, so even my, kind of fringing on blasphemy. So, but I play the pagans who do blaspheme the Lord in this game, and I don't, not like cursing, swearing, but in just like them countering and then questioning and then being confused by what they're saying about, Christian, this God is, but this is a man. He walked the earth. He died. I don't get it. He resurrected. Oh, he resurrected. Silly stuff like that. I really just having a good time with this, and it's really just to see kids speak the word, like realize they got to confront these pagans in this game. There's this girl. So this girl and mom were playing, and I was playtesting with them. Young girl, and they were on a boat going across the lake, Lagana, and the man took a coin and put it in at a dead fish and was putting it in the water to pray for a safe travel. And she's all telling the mom, again, what is he doing? Is he, like, that's wrong. He's not, can't, it was cool that she saw this and said, wait a minute, and let's tell him, she wanted to tell him this is wrong, and so that was cool. I had this just recently. This young boy is with his dad is playing, and he said, there's only one true God. There's only one, telling these and this is an apocalyptic one, and it's just you got to get these games going. Got to make them silly, fun. I'm just gonna go through and show you what I'm doing in these games and how simple this really is. It's really simple. It's yeah, when I first started GMing this, it was so hard. It was so alien to me as a Christian. It was so alien to do evangelism and church planting. How do I do this? I've never, it's not in here because I've been erasing it. RPGs, all the RPGs out there are getting you to be heroes, save the world, or save yourself. Get your reward, and that's all I've ever played. And I did not have in my mind as an RPG GM any concept of Christianity at all, and I willfully, naively erased that mindset, so that I was being lulled. I became so intrigued by Star Wars Wikipedia now that they keep changing. Star Wars Wikipedia was my fascination because I got the Star Wars RPG. I sort of looked at the Sword Coast, the Forgotten Realms a bit. I started studying that. That became fascinating to me. And nothing about the Bible, nothing about church history interested me at all. I didn't care about it. Did not care about the church. Did not care about the martyrs. Did not care about Roman Catholic history, which I do like. And Protestant history. I did not care about any of that. I did not care about the White Devils, the Royal Navy, who fought for 100 years to end slavery. Didn't care about any of that. Didn't care. All I cared about was Star Wars and Forgotten Realms and all this sort of ancestral RPG creators and making up stuff. And that's sad because that stuff is puff in the wind, a thin wisp of air, nothing. I get it, it's fun, I understand, but I'm having way more fun, and I'm now obsessing over wanting to learn church history. Now I'm very excited to go to Europe because I want to go to these churches and start buying up any old books they have. I'm really excited about that, and I hope the Lord gives me and my wife the opportunity to do that. That's what I want to do as a vacation. I literally just want to go to Europe, to England and London, to Italy, and I want to go to the churches. That's where I want to go. We're going to have our wines and our dinners and maybe a goth club in some of the big cities, but that's it. Other than that, I just want to go to the churches. I know, goth club, I do. I don't know if that's my sin or what it is, but it's my wife and I just have that as our romance when we were younger. So, but it's just the wife and I don't want to get in that culture or anything. It's just the music. Something. All right, I'm gonna go pause and get some more coffee, and then I'll be right back to show the game. I'll be right back. Well, it's gonna be a second for you. Okay, I'm back. That's my coffee topped off. I forgot what I was talking about. Shoot. Went to get coffee and then talk to my wife. Blah, blah, blah. I came back and read a couple things. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I got to do this. But let me show you this. I'm going to go jump to this now. This is a dungeon crawl. And I created a dungeon crawl for my Dark Ages thing that I've been playing. So I have now 3 games running. 3 different groups, which is amazing because I started with 0. When I did FTLRPG, I lost all my D&D people, my Star Wars people. Some of them were Christian too, and none of them wanted to return to this or do this. And different reasons. Their lives are busy or whatever. But I had like 0 people to play with, and I had to what am I going to do? So I just trudged along, and now I have 3 groups, and I've got more people that are interested, and I'm building up the Discord. So you got to start. I'm telling you guys to start doing this game. And I'm going to push this game specifically because I've gotten a lot of people. Let me go back to the face. Here's another little, I don't know if it's an irk or it should be encouraging because of maybe my foundation right now is just trying to build this up. But I've gotten a lot of other Christians who have their own Christian games. But and they always tell me about their games they're doing. But none of them have evangelism or church planting in them. They're always about redefining the Bible or going back into Bible history and becoming heroes and superheroes and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I mean, I'm not interested in that. And I don't mind that we have more Christian content and whatever it is, but it's the same stuff. Being a hero, being a Greek, superhero, comic book superhero. No, I want boots on the ground, evangelism, church planting. And you are weak, and you are fallible, and you make mistakes, and you're immortal, and you feel pain, and I want that, and you feel frustration, and you got to go to the bathroom, and you're hungry and tired, and you're Paul, traveling around Europe, you're in the dire straits. I don't want to rewrite history. I don't want to rewrite the Bible. I don't want to interpret demons and angels. I'm not interested in any of that. And I think the Bible limits the information on angels and demons because it's not important. I mean, it's there, it's important, but it's really not. In my personal view is if you're being affected by demons, you're the problem. You're not a Christian or whatever. If you are affected by demons, probably, or you need to get right with God. You need to get right with God. And Christianity to me is about you and me doing something for the Lord. And I don't care about your faith. I mean, I don't care about, how you need Jesus or how important Jesus is to you or how you're smart, how many verses you know. I don't care. What are you doing for the Lord? That's what I care about, because that's your fruits, or whatever. And, you can tell me all you want about how well you know the verses in the Bible and who else knows all the verses in the Bible. I don't care. I want to know what you're doing. What are you doing for the Lord? That's all I want to know. Because that means action. You actually have to do something. And you should know that too for yourself. What are you doing for the Lord? And I'm not trying to stress you out or make you angry, but I'm trying to make you think, hey, wait a minute, what am I doing for the Lord? Do something for the Lord, whatever it is. I mean, if you're the doorman of the church, perfect. You're serving the church. That's great. The people that volunteer the church, awesome. Okay, they're doing something. They're doing something. They're happy. Good. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know anything else. I don't want a lesson plan from you. I don't want your advice on what books to read. Just do that for the Lord. Perfect. Serve the Lord in some way. And I'm not saying I don't want to learn stuff, but I'm busy learning stuff, me personally. So this game is about that. It's about doing something for the Lord. And I'm not trying to get into thick theology. I'm trying to get into basic theology for anyone, for the Catholics, the Orthodox, and us Protestants. And I don't care at this point. All 3 churches to me are wonderful, hardworking. I don't care. I know there's plenty of heresies within all of them, and there's plenty of arguing. And I'm going to show you something real quick. Actually, I'm going to pull this up because it just came up today, and I'm very interested in it. And I'm going to read it at some point, but I don't want to read it right now. It's very long. I just want to just quickly show you real quick this article I just came across. So, Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano releases statement on the accusations of schism against him. So he's being excommunicated from the church because of his basically conservative views of the church and of culture. And he is written, and he's not going to the excommunication by the Pope, by Pope Francis, who, I obviously think is a Marxist, communist, whatever. And that's my opinion of this Pope. But this guy is basically, me and him are in simpatico. Basically, I read a bit of this, but it's look at this. It's his response to this is almost like a Martin Luther moment. I'm not saying we Protestants are correct. I'm saying this guy is trying to get the church back to the good church, and he believes the church right now is corrupted, the Catholic Church. The subversive views, so this guy is claiming the church is corrupt. And I think that has been going on in the Catholic history. Obviously it's been going on in the church historically too, and that's kind of where the Protestants came from. So, and there was a point where there was a meme going around where the Catholics are saying, the Catholic Church was built by Peter, and then all the Protestant churches are built by Martin Luther, or, other human beings that are not the apostles or whatever. And I'm like, I bet you, and this is the claim of the Protestants too, and I have this book on it that with one of my pastors at my church at Martin Luther, Pastor John MacArthur Grace Community Church. One of the pastors there wrote a book claiming, and I using original source material of the Church Fathers, that we Protestants were in simpatico or whatever, in sync with the original Church Fathers, their writings of grace. There's nothing in there about the Catholic stuff, the rules of the church today. It's all about grace, and that's what we're all about, grace. Anyway, my point being, I think the Catholics, Protestants, and Orthodox probably all were in agreement for the first 600 years or whatever, and then of course, and around 14th century is when it all started. There was a low point in the Catholic Church. Okay, I'm not saying now, a low point all the time, but there was definitely a low point there where there was sort of corruption and this kind of schism stuff happening, and this is happening today in the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church is so centralized that it's a little worrisome in that sense. Whereas the churches in the early period, and I'm not criticizing you guys, I'm just going off here. The churches were very all separate and all doing their own things, and even in the New Testament, it talks about how all the different churches are all different, had different ways and means and issues. Anyway, it's just I hope I still love the history of the Roman Catholic Church. Maybe some Protestants will tell me to shut up, but and I'm still intrigued by the history. One of my favorite heroes is a Catholic. In the Siege of Malta, that book, it's all about the Catholic Templars, and that's kind of like one of my favorite historical books about that battle. And I read that every few years, the same book. But I should stop and probably start reading some other stuff. But anyway, let's get back to some fun stuff here. Let me get back to this again. So this is a dungeon crawl, and they just started, and I just want to give you some little, fun little stuff I did here. They came from here, this village. They converted this little village, this little fishing thing here. And I'm going to turn this into a campaign book for you guys, like put this in a book, a zine or book or whatever, and so you guys can have this. And by the way, you can make this, this is your or a version of this. I want you to kind of throw your own thing together here, but this is the village, and down here is they go and do a sacrifice to a dragon, which is a Loch Ness monster type dragon, hidden back here in the rocks, which the characters don't know about. They killed it actually, over at the other village, but there is a treasure type thing here. Now, how do I do treasures in the Dark Ages? Because are they treasures and heroes and just wanting treasure? When they get treasures, I kind of just name them off as like a large sack of denarii or some relics, Roman relics, church relics, whatever. They can just use those to gain favor with the village or to help the church, finance the church. If the church gets these things, it gets them bonuses and stuff. And they might get a bonus, like a bonus magic item. Okay, what's a magic item? And we don't believe in magic, but no, there obviously is magic. But they'll get like a +1 die rank, +2 die rank spear. Well balanced, well made, sharper. The steel is tempered better. That kind of thing. You can do that forever and ever and ever in this game. Constantly giving them more and more stuff. Like the nun she was at the monastery, so she got a +1 die rank book. Codex of Psalms, And then when she got a +2 die rank Codex of Psalms, basically she got more Psalms to add to her Codex. You know, she's adding more parchments and writing, copying them down, and you know, staying at the monastery for a week to do that. And now she has more Psalms to use in her prayers, and so that gives her a bonus to her prayers. So they can constantly get these, you know, magic items. They're not magic, but you know what I mean, bonus items with bonus die like that, and it doesn't break the game at all, you know, because of the die ranks that I use. And I love the die rank system that I use, because you can throw in die ranks from all over the place, and it's not going to turn into a +20 roll, right? It's going to be a dice pool, pick the highest. Obviously, it gradually can go higher and higher and explode the dice too for the fun of that. But they could always roll low, and that's hilarious, especially when they've got like 15 die ranks and they still fail. That is a nat 1 moment just in that. Oh, you know, they roll, but they can do it, and that's what's great about the game is even when they're adding in die ranks to their rolls, it still becomes a dice pool, not all the dice get to be added, you know. And I'm assuming most of you know what I'm talking about, but I want to go over that just for the fun of it, because I still love it. So what is a dice pool? What are we talking about here? All right. Why am I doing this? But anyway, in the game, the only constant number you have is just like in D&D ability score, +3, +2. You know, these are strength, dexterity, whatever. These are the same sort of thing. That's the only constant number. Then as you why do I have this in here? Darn it! Should take that out. And then when you have a weapon or whatever, you will have that, let's say +3 prowess, but then you add die ranks after that, +1, +2 die ranks, +3 die ranks, and you buy those with glory points. And if you want 3 die ranks, it costs 3 glory points. If you want to go to 4 die ranks, it costs 4 glory points. So it gets more and more expensive. Right? It's hard. And there's no limit. You can get 5, you can get 7, you can get 12. I don't care. If you want to get that crazy with your character and add that many die ranks, you know, improve them and spend that many glory points to do it, and not spend the glory points on other things that you would probably want to do for your character, that's fine. But that's up to you. So as you spend those die ranks, you get, it turns into a dice pool. Let me see if the infograph is on here. The dice pool, then, see how you have die ranks here, and when you get to 10 die ranks, it's now D12 and a D12, because remember, every 5 is a D12, right? Every 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get a D12. And if you're at 10 die ranks, you get 2 D12s, right? Divided by 5. Just divide by 5. That tells you how many die ranks or how many D12s you get. And the remainder is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So D4, you know, so if you're at 12 die ranks, if you have 12 die ranks, 5 because of your skill, you got 5 due to the cleric blesses you with 5 die ranks, and you got 2 die ranks because of your weapon is a 2 die rank weapon, right? So you got 12 die ranks. So that becomes 2d12, and 2 left over is a d6. So your dice pool to roll, here, I'm just going to do it for the fun of it, is d12, and I got a little typing here because I don't have a tool, but I have a bit of a tool there, but whatever. D12, d6, okay. Plus you add your d20 for your regular roll, and then your prowess of +3 or 4 or whatever. I'll just say +3. So you roll a 9 and pick the highest, 10. 9 and a 10. What was that? Oh, yeah. And I rolled a 22 success. Okay, so yeah, 9 and a 10, 22 success. So that was a hit for whatever it depends on what the roll's for. I'm gonna roll it again to see if I can get a bad number. You know, it'll be rare. It'll be like one with that kind of high of a ranks. It'll be like pretty rare, but it can still happen. Let's just see. I know this is kind of live, so I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay, that nat 1. Roll the nat 1. So that's typical. I mean, that's never mind. See, I rolled a 10 and a 9. That turned off faster than I wanted. A 10 and a 9. So that actually counters the nat 1. So that's cool. So that's a nice thing. And then, see if I can show it real quick, just so you can see the dice on the side. Not that it matters. A 10 and a 1. So that actually counters the nat 1. So that's cool. That shows your skills are just that good that you can, your blessings or whatever. And you explode the dice. So that's the total there is a 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. A 25 toto. Now, why? This looks like with the net. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Here, sorry. Yeah, that still explodes the dice. 15. Sorry, 8, 11, 4, 1, net 1. Why did I get 2 net? This is confusing. I rolled 2. Oh, that's a 1 for a 6. Sorry. This is the D20 net 1. Okay. So anyway, that explodes the dice. 8 and 11 explode the dice. Very cool. So that's a different thing. That's a nice. I'm gonna do it again. Why? Because I'm a doofus. 1, 2, 3. So it's a D20 plus 3 plus their 12 die ranks. Roll. I just want to see. I'm not gonna fail there. 23. Okay, got a 23. I'm gonna do it again. I know this is weird. D12, D6. This is a high thing, by the way. This is like a high level person. So they're going to always kind of roll pretty high, but you still have a chance of not rolling high. Okay, that's really high. 31. Wow. Good. All right, I'm going to do it one more time. My experiment's failing. I can fail, but it's not going to show here. All right, that's the last time. Fine. Succeeded. Fine. Always succeeding. Whatever. Still fine with me. I still feel like they could still fail as a GM. I'm not worried about it. I don't feel like it's always a plus 12 or plus 18 in their rolls. But and I have had them fail in the game, so it's hilarious. Using 12 die rings. I had one guy he was doing a comlink upgrading thing and he failed and ruined it. Anyway, he rolled like a 2, a 3, and a 4 and a nat 1. That was bad and hilarious. Okay, so let me get back to this. The village here. They defeated the witch up here. I don't think did they. Yeah, I think they ended up killing her. Because she would not relent of her evil ways. Okay, that they attacked the missionaries, and these villagers came up and helped them. And this is the start of their dungeon crawl down into this dungeon. This was an old. So what this is, I'm being so nerdy here, in the region. In this Lac du Lagano region, this is a total area in Italy. Actually, the lake next to it is Lake Como. So I didn't realize that when I was looking at the exoticness of it all. And in Lagano, there's a lot of like nice little restaurants along the edge of the place. Anyway, they're at Millet here, and so what I've kind of decided was, and this is just me making it up, that the Romans came here for vacations from Milan, and for many centuries, and they built their tombs in the Mount Hills here so that they could have these sort of pilgrimages to their tombs and worship their ancestors. So littered throughout the hills here are tombs and crypts, and that's the dungeon crawl. And so the Christians, the missionaries discovered that secret because it was hundreds of years ago, and then they realized that the pagans are very strong in this area because of these ancestral worships. So they want to go in there and cleanse out the tombs. That's right. Christians are mean like that. We're going to get rid of these shrines and stuff. So this is the shrines of Millet, the village, and this is all of them. And there is cults in there that have different entrances from around the hills doing ancestral worship. Now, some of this is ancestral worship, and some of it is just the devolved tribes. Like this is a devolved tribe down here hiding away and doing their own worship. Over here is some spider, like a big giant prehistoric turtle beast that has taken this area over and destroyed some of the tombs. And of course there's one hidden tomb. And then in this one definitely is a cult with rare people coming down this hidden secret entrance, coming in to rest here like their caravans, and then come in and do a ritual here and give an offering here, and they actually giving an offering to the turtle beast, and then they come in here and do ceremonies, ancestral worship ceremonies, and the guy's going to be super evil, and in the middle here is like a guy that's kind of like a troll, he's got the sort of the stats of a troll, and he just lives here and festers, and I don't know if he resets the traps or he just whatever. He just lives in the dark, and he gets some offerings from the cult here. He's just kind of a worshiper guy. I don't know. I haven't really totally figured that out, or maybe I did and I just forgot. And then in here are some tombs that are sort of forgotten, or that here there that the locals would come and maybe do a little bit, but they don't anymore because it's old. Whatever. Anyway, so this is just things that they can do. And in the early part here are some simple traps I did. Now, one of the players had a criticism of this thing. He thought that historically, for medieval history, there's no dungeon crawls. There aren't really that many dungeon stuff. And he has a good, valid point. But I want to extrapolate out and push the limits of the legends and myths. And I think he felt like the traps were a little too complicated. And I'll explain some of the traps for the fun of it. But I was like, he was kind of questioning whether we should be doing this kind of thing, and would missionaries actually do this? And I'm like, you know what? They did have these things. I don't know if they've had them, all together like this, but I think they did, some of them. And we know in Rome there was miles and hundreds of miles. I don't know hundreds, but more than dozens of miles of tombs and crypts in there. I'm not saying they're laden with traps, complicated traps or anything, but I do want to tone down like the complicated magical traps, and want to put in more practical traps, more simple, practical, but still dangerous. And even like trap falls and pitfalls and all that, but even more so just terrain traps, dangerous terrain type things, falling rocks or cliff sides or chasms that they can not see and fall into. So you can kind of play with that. I am putting in prehistoric beasts, so I'm putting in down in the deep in the earth. There's some prehistoric beasts living in there. I don't know how they can survive, but whatever. Like a giant turtle, giant spiders, giant arachnoids. And plus, look here, down here, and actually they just had a cliffhanger where one of their characters rolled a nat 1 right next to the pit, so he's gonna fall in, or I'll give him a save, but he's gonna fall in and fall down and crush and die. No, I don't know, whatever else. I'll roll a couple of damaging things, but there's giant crabs down here, and this is an underground lake cave because they're next to a lake anyway. So giant crabs, prehistoric, and then prehistoric squid creature down here. And each of these boats and loot areas are potential for loot for them to get and finance the church, or finance any gifts they give to the church or to the local baron will help them in their planning of the church, etc. And maybe getting gifts in return, like from the church, like to help them. All right, so here's a cool trap I did. And obviously this one's very D&D-ish, like fantasy. Let me see if I gotta grab it with this guy. So this is a boulder that was up here behind the trap here, and you're supposed to, Loki wants a rock. I put that down for them. But here's what it says: give a small offering to Loki the trickster. So give offering in hand. Now they don't know this part. Give offering in hand to lock hidden trigger. So if they would have put an offering in the hand, then this boulder would not, there was a step here. Trigger, aware 12, if looking, because it's very hidden. If they searched, stone slightly raised, stone rolls, fear 12. So if they none of them rolled their aware, so they totally triggered the stone, which I was very happy with, then they had to beat a fear 12 using either spirit or prowess, or otherwise that would penalize it based on that roll. Like if they rolled, and I do the die rank thing, so I was going to do the die rank thing where however much they failed by, let's say they rolled a 10, they failed in the fear in 10, that's 2 below what they needed, right? So 2, half of that is 1 die rank, so you got a minus 1 die rank to their roll to avoid the rock. And I would have just added the roll to the rock, so the roll is 12 plus 2, so 14. That's what I would have done. I know you could just pick a number. You could just say they got to beat a 14, whatever. I wanted there to be a fear roll, and then it's a prowess or awareness jump out of the way roll, because the fear of a giant rock coming down could freeze them, paralyze them in fear. And based on what they failed by, so whatever they failed by, you half that, and then add it to the dangerous rock roll, because they're being paralyzed. So if they would have failed by 8, then they would have, half that is 4 die ranks is a d10. I would have rolled a d10, 6, added it to a 12, and that's 18. So he has to beat an 18 to avoid the rock. Okay. Because he's so paralyzed with fear because he sees a giant rock coming at him. They all saved their fear, actually. Here's the amazing thing. They saved every one of the rolls. Now, I could have also done the other way, like how much they saved by from the fear. I could add it to their prow, but 12 is to me is low enough. 12, got to be to 12 minimum. And they, and that's you set the premise of that. You can do it either way. It's up to you as a GM to decide that. I'm going to keep it at 12. They beat 12, and anyway, the damage was 2d12, right? And if the damage would have been 8 or more on this wound 8 here, then they would have gotten a grievous wound, like a minus. I would have been nice and said it like you're at minus 2 dr or minus 3 dr wound because you got crushed, by the rock. It crushed your leg or smashed your rib, and you're now limping along with a crushed leg or rib or whatever, or a broken ankle. And so they would have had to deal with that. And the wounds do not heal, right? You're at minus 3 dr, minus 3 die ranks. That does not heal unless you get the nun can heal with her miracle of healing. Does she have miracle of healing? Yeah, she has miracle of healing. So that is the specifically for wounds. The regular heal is only for vitality. So she can help them. So a nun is important. Or they have to go back and rest up and spend a week resting, and if they would have done that, I would have added another danger to the tombs, like the pagans of the area would have heard that they went into the tombs, and so some pagans would have come in and protected the tombs, kind of a thing. I would have just added that to it, like some lawyers or whatever. I would have done something, to penalize their, we got to go back, leave and come back kind of thing. So that was a fun little rock roll thing, and they succeeded though. But it was cool. It was an adventure. Now, but again, that's what I think triggered the one player is like, well, this is cool, but it's not, Christian or historical. It's more like D&D. And I'm like, yeah, it is. But and the rock fell down here too. Went down this hole and landed down here. Oh, what the heck? I just lost it. Whatever. I'll just put it right there. Okay. But I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to, but I do want to, again, limit the extravagance of it all, the traps, and keep it more kind of grounded in reality. So this one here, and it is grounded in reality, actually. Light the fire of Mithra to see the way. So they got to light this brazier fire, and then okay, so what does that do? See, I thought of it in a magical sense. It lights the fire and it heats up a coiled copper wire that seals the rocks here, like they expand, just a slight bit, I know, done like a Greek craftsman figured this out. When you heat the wire up, it actually expands and tightens the rocks so they don't collapse when you walk over it. That's my goofy little thing. But see, so it's not magical. It's just light the fire and it'll heat up this whatever, and it expands and seals the rock so that they won't collapse as you walk over it into this pit. See? So it's light the fire of Mithra to see the way. So, as a Christian, are you going to light the fire of Mithra? You know what I mean? That's what I like to do. I like to test them like that. Give a small offering to Loki, the trickster. See? I want to get them to question their faith, in a fun sort of way, but it's all sort of, that's what the pagans do. They want to do that to you. They always want to, even today they do that with their arguments about abortion or whatever. They always try to give you a scenario where you have no choice but to kill an unborn baby, with all that stupid stuff that they do with their little fires and whatever, vials, whatever. Anyway, so they're at this point now where he rolled a nat 1 here. Oh, this one. Make your offering to the spirits of Lagano. Aware 14 can hear sounds, water, maybe scraping of stone down below. So this one is just, throw down some food or whatever the pagans do. Make your offerings to the spirits of Lagano. And of course, when you do that, right, you hear like, oh, the spirits have responded to you. They have answered your prayer, your offering. But of course, what it is giant crabs down here just feeding on whatever you fed, whatever you drop down there. See, that's paganism, man. And there's, a lot of Christians fall into that trap of doing prayer things, with different relics and things and different miracles of waters and healings and stuff. And they kind of fall in sort of into that pagan thing with that as well, which, but this is a way of even showing kids that, how paganism works. It's like all these kind of things. Okay. I think that's hilarious and cool. I love it. And then of course there's more stuff, but I just want to go through a couple things with you like that. So they're doing that, and they planted a church here. They started at the Church of Ravio, and this is Ravio's over here, and it's kind of like the starting point of the game. And there's all kinds of missions and stuff on here. I have fleshed out this area around the lake. I have not gone up into the rest of the area as far as fleshing it out, and I really want to. I really want to I need to create a Dark Ages book, adventure book, so you guys just have them. I mean, it's huge part of role-playing games. I get that, and I really need to build this out. I've been doing the APOC game, the Cruisers of Space game, and this one, and I'm going around each one. The APOC game and the Cruisers of Space are I got a little more excited on, because I was a little freer about all the creatures and monsters, where in this Dark Ages one, I'm trying to keep a limit to what I should be doing, and kind of tying it in with history a little bit, or as far as, whatever. So that's kind of been slowing me down a little bit. But I finally got a group playing, but I'm going to end it this summer, because it's at a weird time, 11 o'clock on Wednesday. And I kind of want to get it an evening one, so I can get more players and a little more solid group together at some point. But we'll see, who really want to do this kind of thing, but we'll see. They're good. I enjoy playing with them, but I think the time is hard for me to get a fourth or fifth player. 11 a.m. on Tuesday. That's kind of a weird time. But anyway, so that I really enjoyed this one. That was really great. I'm going to show you guys my I'm just kind of going around and just doing things. What else am I excited about right now? I want to show you guys the APOC one. I'm playing with this dad and his young son. So let me show you that real quick. Let me just go back to this and get this on Foundry, because I kind of have them going there. This is where I'm getting kids to play, 2 young boys, and they're young, 9 and 10. So it's and their dad, and I'm also me and the dad are actually teaching them how to role play better too, because they're very there's moments where they get all giggly and silly, which is fine, but we're trying to teach them how you got to focus and stay in the game and be that character, and hopefully they'll enjoy that. I don't know. 9 and 10 is pretty young. And I did start it at 9 and 10 myself, but wasn't with an adult or anything. But we had less distractions back then as well, right? We didn't have a bunch of other things to do. So this is their campaign. They started off at the home base here. I've got a bunch of different adventures set up for them, basic adventures, and these all align to a battle map. These all correlate or whatever. And they have gone to here, these ruins, and they planted a church. And they planted a church here. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to make a little journal of the churches, so that the churches themselves will have a security role to see how well they can survive, and then health points, and to see how much strong they are. And as long as the health points stay up, then they're not in trouble. If they get in trouble, they're going to call them back to help them. And that's part of the adventure. And they're building up a civilized world right now, and I actually got to add in some other things. They're going to this one now, and this is how I want you to play the APOC game. You it's hex crawl. You randomly roll up each hex as the GM and prep it and prepare it. So for instance, let me go to which map. This one is called one. I don't have this in the booklet, but this is how I made my little system here. 1 is the first round of hexes, and southeast is where it is, and then ruins. And this is 2, obviously the second ring out, and then 3 is going to be this one. So 1 southeast ruins. Let me just go to that map real quick. Got it over here under 1 southeast ruins. Okay. All right, so this is the map I put out and made, and it's like a town, not the city epic final campaign ruin. I didn't want to go there immediately for my own sake, so I just made it a town ruin. And here they are. They have and I rolled it up, and they had a ancient secret thing here. They got this is a secret lab, and I added this one myself just because I wanted to add another little dungeon crawl for them, a little fun thing. Because I rolled some stuff and just let me add it. And I quickly made this for the next thing, and then they went through and fought more bugs They got to fight some more creepy bugs here and creepy worm bugs. And there's creepy crabbies. They started off with the crabbies. That's like basically your rat. You know, your. I could have done rats, but these are the crabbies they fought. Nice, slow with armor, and they shot at them. You know, just to get some fun understanding of a game of a shooting using guns in the thing. And they converted these people, and then the ministers came from the bunker to start the church, and they're starting a civilization, a church with survivors. And they got some guns and weapons and some security, a little bit of security. The security is they got a really good door here. They got this place they can build up. Their food source is now the crabbies and whatever else they start doing. So they got to search around for loot in the different rooms. Fought the crabbies, fought these big creatures. There's a water well here down in this little guy. That's cool. See, so that's the first church. And back here. Then the second church, they just had this adventure. Again, I rolled them out the APOC has a rollout chart where you can kind of create your own, create the parameters of what it'll be. This one is 2E Forest. All right, let me go to 2E Forest map. So they came into this area. I think they had a really good fun adventure here. They came in. Basically what it is the witch at the hidden village here, feeds and supports this giant mutated rat that was down at this toxic pool area and radioactive, and they sacrifice. And it kind of played out that they sacrificed humans, with the dad was there, so I was like, but he brought it up. I think, did they sacrifice humans? I'm like, yeah. And the kids were like, man, we got to stop them. So they didn't bother the boys. They were like, we got to stop them. So the whole violence part of it, as long as I wasn't too gratuitous about it, they seemed were kind of fine about it. Not that I'm encouraging you to do that necessarily. I mean, I try to do it like they just sacrifice stuff, and but they were kind of fine with it. But anyway, so they fought some of these bad guys, but eventually I think they killed one, and the rest just surrendered. We're sorry, and they like got frustrated with them, but then they got, all right, well, you guys are gonna give up, yeah, and then the witch was angry, and she got here's one cool thing. They set a trap here for the rat. I thought that they were going to go down here, and I was going to do like a radioactive thing, and they had to go fight them down here. Oh, and I even forgot to have these rats attack them, so I lost a bit of an adventure, but that was okay. But the giant rat came up here. The witch lured it with she threw bait, attractant onto one of the guys, the dad, actually, his character, and so that the giant rat would attack the dad, and so they had to fight it here. They lured it here. They had some bait here, the dead rats and rations, and they put 2 grenades in it. And but then the dad, after they were fighting the giant rat, he actually moved over here to get the giant to follow him to the bait as his sons were shooting at it. And I rolled, and he rolled a nat 1, and he got attracted to the bait, and then went for the and then the grenades got fired off. So that was a cool sequence of events. And they're like, yeah. And what was funny is the soldiers, they were hiding inside the cage, because actually the cage was meant for the pagans to watch the gruesome sacrifice of others here as the rats would eat them. See, because that's what pagans do. And that was cool to look. And then they, it was cool to see the kids preach the gospel. They got the witch. She's like a prisoner. Like, they didn't kill her, which was interesting. And she kept throwing, she threw bait on them, and then she tried to throw an acid pain thing on them, but they avoided it. But yeah, she was using magic, that was her magic. The bait, the one worked, but then the painful one missed, or they avoided it. But yeah, here they are. They're having a big feast now with the dead rat. I was gonna say, oh, it's radioactive, so you can't eat it. But you know what? I'm gonna let them. Sounds good. They're gonna have a break bread, and they're starting a church, another church. And what was cool too, I like that. I just came up with this idea on the fly. I decided that since they're so successful, already planning 2 churches and getting people to listen to the gospel, they called back on the radio to the church or the bunker and said, you each get to pick one item that you can request, right? Like a new bow, a new gun, a new whatever, and so a magic item basically. But it's better made. And so they had to roll their social to do that, and all 3 succeeded, thankfully. So they all 3 got something by the church or by the bunker. Let's see, what did he get? He got a better flamethrower, I think. Right? Did I not write that down? Or was it, oh, he got a better shotgun. Oh, I didn't write it down on here. Ooh. I forgot what it was. I thought it was a flamethrower. Yeah, it's a lighter flamethrower. I didn't write this down. He's got a flamethrower that is medium. Oh, Betsy. Okay, flamethrower called Betsy. Ask Brian stats. I forgot what it was because he's writing it out on his own sheet. And I'm just trying to keep it updated here on my own. I gotta figure out where it was. He's got that. Let's see. What did John get? Don's character got. Choosh, I didn't write it down. I think he got better handgun. Yeah, better handgun. +1 die rank to hit. So he's got this. Like one thing, you know, one thing made with their items. Let's see. He got a lethal bow. So his bow is normally lethal 6. So he got lethal 5 now. So if he does 5 points of damage, it's going to be lethal. It's going to give him a -1 die rank. Oh, I wonder what is the rule on lethal? Is it 1 die rank or is it equivalent to the actual weapon? I hope I made that rule clear. Let me see. I got to find the gun. The weapons. Okay, lethal. Due to small piercing aspect of damage, if number or higher is rolled, add 1 die rank grievous wound. Okay, 1 die rank grievous wound. Armor saves must roll this number or higher to negate the effect. Yeah. Or higher is rolled. Add 1 die rank. Armor saves must roll this number or higher to negate the effect. Well, that doesn't make sense. I mean, I know what I'm doing, but the way I worded this part doesn't. Due to the small piercing aspect of damage, if number or higher is rolled, armor saves must roll this number higher. Well, armor saves can. Due to the small piercing aspect of damage, if number or higher is rolled, let me see if I put it better and worded it better in another one, because I know what I'm trying to say. That is not clear. See, all these little things you gotta lethal. Due to small piercing aspects, if number or more damage results after armor save, add D4 grievous wound. Add a 1 die rank. See, I got a 1 die rank. Oops, 1 die rank grievous wound. Okay, that's the better wording. See, I gotta update this everywhere. I tried to make a 1 book rule book, but I just found it uninteresting. You know, I wanted it to each one to have their own rule book. Okay, so that is good there. Let me see what I got for. This one should probably be accurate. Lethal. Yeah, I just need the 1 die rank. Man, I missed that one. 1 die rank. Oops. And of course, in the sci-fi one, I've got it in 2 spots. Because this is just the reference page, and then the actual armor or guns is in another page. It's the same thing. I just wanted that up there as you know, at the front. But now I gotta like constantly update. Man. So I've already sent it off to be printed. I've already sent it off as final PDF, and that there's one little thing there that's kind of wrong. I mean, for DR, you should know that that's 1 die rank. So, but anyway, you know, that's little things like that, man, are all over the place that I have to like find, and I just found here on this video and fix. And that's hard. That's tough. You know, let me save all these. I'm trying to like not change anything. Like this is it, final. You know, mistakes are all. But there's one. There's one. But oh well, that's fine. You know, hopefully as a GM we'll figure it out. Okay, so anyways, got that. What is so he got a check bow. He's got his better gun, and then Rake's got the better flamethrower. So they got like a magic item out of this. You know, so they're improving as characters. They even got better hit points. Like they raised his hit. He's now 17. Wow. John's got 22 hit points. Wow, vitality. And Rake has 16. And it's going to be harder for them to go up and up and up, you know. But see, what I like about this too is you got vitality, but you also got grievous wounds. And if you go past 5 die rank grievous wounds, you die. Like there's no save. So you got to like, so if you get a couple of devastating wounds, you know, If you get one devastating wound, you got to stop fighting. You're in trouble. So even if you have like 80 hit points in this game, you're in trouble, if you get a big grievous wound. So yeah, they got these 2 churches going now. The kids, and that, here's another thing about this that I really love, is the kids are seeing what you got to do as a Christian. You got to evangelize, convince people, and then get a church set up. And that's Christianity. And then the church becomes this constantly fellowshipping ministry in the local area to help people. Just to help people. I mean, what is a church, by the way, to all you non-Christians or Christians? It's a place that everyone helps each other and learns goodness and learns about God, because if you don't have a good God, you're going to be your own God and you're going to be pretty evil. The church reminds everyone that they're sinful and evil and they need to chill on that. And the only way you can chill on it, if you want to be free from it, if you want to be free from your own sin or evil, is to get into church and work on it with other sinful people in the premise of trying not to be sinful. Well, what's sin? Sexual craziness, drug, alcohol addiction, violence upon others, treating children horribly, right? Those are the sins that we're talking about. Sexual, and these are things that you all and I fall for. Sexual perversities and extremes and exploitation of others. And that's a big one. And that's one that the pagans are fighting us right now. That they want. What I say? Anger and addiction and emotions. And see, culture is fighting us now for that. The culture wants anger and canceled mobs and attacking others and anger and emotions to be the power in the jobs and in the culture. And we Christians are saying no to that. We don't want anger and cancel mobs and vindictiveness to be, and that's pagan. Paganism is vindictiveness, vengeance. We don't want that. We want forgiveness and clarity and calmness, even in the face of wickedness. The worst thing you can do for a wicked person, here's the worst thing you can do to a wicked person: someone who's wicked. Now, not against you, but what I mean by this is, if a wicked person is exploiting you, yes, you got to defend yourself and stop it. But the worst thing, though, truly you can do for a wicked person is to let them have exactly what they want. That's the worst thing you can do for a wicked person. Drug addict, whatever. A wicked person, if you let them have exactly what they want, that's their downfall. So now I'm not talking about drug addicts, pedophiles, or whatever. What I mean is, this is the basic one. A person that cheats on you in a relationship. If they cheat on you, the worst thing that can happen to them is they succeed at that and then get what they want, because that's going to be a disaster for them in the future, sadly. So what I'm trying to say is, heal your heart when a wicked person gets away with it on you, especially when they break your heart. Know this. Stay true to goodness. Stay true, even in your pain and suffering, that their wickedness will come back to haunt them. And you have to just stay a good person. Don't turn to wickedness to get them or to go after them or be vengeful. If they're getting away with it, and you've done everything you can to try to stop them from getting away, but if they eventually just get away with it, you don't need to go vengeance on them. You need to return to goodness and forgiveness and live the right life nonetheless. Their wickedness will come back to get them worse than you could do to them, by far. So the worst thing you can do to an evil person is be kind to them. Anyway, this is a little offshoot there. So let me go back to this. So this is the kind of game you can have with your kids, with your family, where they literally have to speak the gospel and you're giving them a hard time, as the pagans. And it's fun. It's really a lot of fun. And they get to fight creatures and they get to fight baddies. Here's what they're doing next, just so you know. They don't watch this, so I don't think they do. Well, actually, the dad might. Go away, Dad. Okay, so let me go back to this. They're going now to this mountain region because they have heard that the villagers, that the survivors that live over here ran away from the mutant marauders that are here, the mutants or whatever. And these mutant guys are what they told them was that they were being hunted by some creature in the mountains, and thusly they became weak, and so the people were able to escape. So they now know that there's some raiders up in the mountains that are slavers and bad, but also there's something else hunting them. So that's kind of cool. So let me go to 3 maps here. I only got the one, and I got to roll out the other ones here. So here's the map I did. I actually use this for another one, but here's the map I'm doing. This is like a mountainous region. I just made these rocks really big, and there's a kind of a crossroad here. They're going to be coming from this direction. And there's, of course, a little depot. This is the thing I rolled up, a little depot thing in here where they're hiding out. You know, these are bad guys. They're slavers. They're not going to probably not be converted unless you beat a few of them down with some really good vicious rolls. So it's going to be violent, and initially at least, or I'm going to play it that way for quite a while because they're crazy and evil, and that's just who they are. But this thing inside here is hunting them and eating them. So, and it's like a mutant, hauntnoid. I call it the hauntnoid. It's got prowess 4, aware 4, defense 16, save d8, vigor 22, which is hit points, fatality, limb defense 22. So if you can attack the limb, it'll basically give it a wound if you destroy one of the limbs. Bite +4, +1 die rank, d8, grapple 14, so they can use a prowess or awareness to try to get out of its grapple. Also, it has a webbing. If you get stuck in it, 16 to get out of it. It's at minus, and if you don't, you're at -2 die ranks. You can't move. You're on the web, but you're at -2 die ranks for whatever you want to do. If you want to shoot, fight, you're at -2 die ranks, but you can't move. And it can get up to 4, blast d4, close range only. So it'll pew. Fang poison, +4, 2 die ranks. And then of course it'll paralyze you with an 18 die rank result. So if they fail, let's say they rolled a 16, then they're only at -1 die rank, right? Half of 16 or 2 is 2, half of that is 1. Any sort of die rank result is half of whatever the fail or succeed is. If they succeed, they just don't get any penalty. Whatever they fail by this 18, they will get half of that will be the die ranks that they're penalized. So if they're at -6 die ranks, if they fail by 12, half of that is 6 die ranks. They're pretty much in paralysis, but beyond 5. They're full paralysis, I would say. You could just say -6 die ranks to their rolls if you want, or you could just say you can't move at all. I'm gonna probably be mean and do that. Rear bite +4, so this has a little claw on the back. It's a free action, so if anyone attacks them from behind, I can just look at the tokens and see where they're at. It'll get this free little basic thing. There is a fear 18 though. It does cost fear, so they have to roll fear 18, and if they fail that, let's say they roll a 12 total with their spirit or prowess. I kind of like to use prowess too, but mostly spirit, maybe even intellect if they're using their intellect to overcome this fear. I kind of, if they want to say that, I'm kind of okay with that. But if they fail, let's say they rolled a 12 total, so they failed by 6. Half of that is 3, so 3 die rank penalty to all their rolls because they're in fear. Ugh. So, and I use the 3 die ranks on my end, right? I use it for the defense of the creature if they're trying to attack it. If they're trying to get away, I will add it to the difficulty of them trying to get away, that kind of thing. Stealth in the rocks, so it can all these. So that's one. Its strength is it's able to do a stealth thing, and if it does a stealth thing, it succeeds at the stealth, and their awareness doesn't detect it. I will give it a first attack. I might even give it a 1 or 2 die rank bonus to the attack because it's in stealth. That's what I do for that. So yeah, scary creature here. I might give it some little kitties, but I think that's enough. That sounds pretty tough right there. And plus, they're gonna have to fight these guys as well. So that's and they could die. The other thing I try to let them know is the kids that they can die. As their characters they can die. So, they're doing something good. They're trying to achieve something, and if they die, then we'll just. And when they make a new character too, I always let them double their glory points. The new character to catch up to the other ones. And that kind of makes sense too, because if you're like a new person and you're with some experienced players or whatever, experienced characters, you would learn faster as you get to their level. Kind of makes sense to me. Anyway, this is a cool little adventure I hope that they'll do. And then I have to roll out, because I'm such a nerd. No, I don't have time. I gotta get things going here. But I gotta roll out these 2 hexes now, which it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this prep for this thing. Rolling it out and then trying to figure out what it is. Let me just show you real quick. I don't want to do it right now because I don't want to get too into it, because I will get into it and it'll take a while. You get to roll out the different type of hex it's going to be, what's in it, the different type of mutants that are in there, you know, and you kind of pick and choose too. You can kind of, you get to create a mutant beast if I roll that out. I could roll out some search and salvage if I wanted to. That's really it. I could get, here, the pagans, I could get into the type of worship they're doing, and then definitely their conversion level is that part right there. So yeah, these few pages really help you create your little each hex, and then you can kind of pick and choose. It's like a guide, so you can adjust it accordingly. And what I like about this rare table of salvage, and then the one down here, I like to roll this for like different locations so that it gives me an idea of what that location's focus was on. Laboratory, hovercraft garage, maybe a armor save upgrade, so that must be an armor workshop. Or fuel, it must be a gas station type of thing. Player's choice, number 20. Ooh, that's, what if you guys were looking for something, what would be cool to find? I could kind of let them kind of help me out there a little bit. What are you guys looking for? What is interesting to you, out there? You could do stuff like that. So it's great. So I'm having a great time with this, with the dad and his two sons. It works. I've play tested this now with more than 50 people, more than, I don't know, 10 different campaigns, all 10 or more episodes. And I love it. I can't do anything else. I'm not interested in anything else. I'm not interested in Star Wars. I'm not interested in any other game. This can do, this game here can do all the settings I want. Dark Ages, dark grim stuff. I'm gonna do a gothic one. I'm gonna do pirates and galleons and stuff with this. It's got vehicle combat. I can do sci-fi. I'm gonna do a galleons, a seafaring one here in a minute. As soon as I get a few more things done here, and I'm working on Alfred 6. I should have mentioned this at the beginning. I'm working on Alfred 6. So check that out. My Alfred writing. Let me go to my webpage real quick, and then I'm gonna finish this off. Nope, that's not it. Let me get this set up. I don't even know what the heck. Oh, that was over there. What was that? Here, let me go to the webpage. Okay. Here's my website. All right, I'm gonna do a little. If you've watched this far in this video, I'm gonna show you a secret. If you click on, and you could probably just discover this as you go. If you click on this homeschool thing, there's a secret page there. I'm gonna get rid of it soon. That has all the Dark Ages stuff that I have. Of course, didn't fix that one rule, but the PDFs, the creature codex, printable assets, fillable and printable character sheets, and characters just to try to use. And then, so if you've been watching this long, there's your little bonus. Because right now the only thing truly free is the Dark Ages rulebook. Anyway, so if you go to here, I want to do this real quick. Kid Bookshop. This is my Alfred series. I sell this at the homeschool conventions. I just sell these 5 books. That's all I got. These are kind of D&D-ish. It's family friendly, and they're actually in the same world, but in a completely different area, and nothing to do with Alfred at the moment. And there's no Christianity or anything, like, there is Christianity in here. It's light, kind of a thing, but it's there. I'm building it up more and more, but it's very fantastical, right? Very, very fantasy, very D&D fantasy, but with a kid. So I really recommend this even to you adults. It's really hardcore. I did the audio of the first one here, but there's this, and please leave a review if you've read it. I need reviews on Amazon. If you can do that, I would really be helpful. And share. If you can share these, I would really appreciate that as well. I need word of mouth, really. For the Lord RPG has got the all these. I'm trying to sell them for $5. I don't really know if that's the right thing to sell them for, but whatever. I still feel like I'm building whatever it is I'm trying to build, a ministry, a business. I think I want it to be a ministry though, because of the laws here in California are so oppressive for a business, concerning, and especially like, who you can hire, who you have to hire, how much you have to pay them. Democrats love to tell you how to run your business. But Night of the Dead, this is my adult series. It's hardcore Christian, but very based on reality, because of a zombie apocalypse, which is a reality in Hollywood. Guy wearing armor, I got to update the armor in the next one, I hope. But I'd like to keep working on the series, but I've been so busy with the other things. But hardcore action, man, I'm telling you. I was on 3. My sister edited. My sister, hardcore Christian woman. It was funny. I was writing Night of the Dead 3, and she said, "Hey, it's not gory enough. It's not intense enough. What the heck?" She's like, I toned down the gore in it. And she's all, because the first 2, it's gory. And she's all, no, you got to bring that back in. It wasn't gory enough for her. That was hilarious. I was like, dang, okay. So I had to rewrite quite a bit of it, which was fine. Or I just added more intensity to it, which I enjoyed. It was funny. I was like, oh, I guess I was trying to be nice. Anyway, the Black Knight is me. I do have my old Star Wars D&D stuff in here, just to keep it. You know, I don't mind knowing what I've done or whatever. And I did a lot of work on this stuff, but I had a lot of fun with it. It taught me a lot, I guess. I don't know. It was enjoyable. Look at all these cool drawings I did. It's just I didn't, is that crazy or what? Look at all these dudes, all these giants, and I it was fun. But you know what? Right now, I'm looking at these. I really enjoyable. Oh, I could use these just for pagans, but I'm not. I just I don't need it. I really don't. I could use these as pagans actually. But I don't. This is not the style I'm doing now. I'm doing a very cartoony style, doodly. I'm not doing this sort of fun comic book style. I'm doing more of a doodly style. So I don't want to use these for that. But you can if you want. I do believe in giants. 8 foot, 9 foot. Prehistoric type of stuff. I think that's it for now. Yeah, that's enough for now. What a long video this is, just blabbling on a Saturday morning. Okay, well, and there's your bonus. If you watched it this far, you go to my website and go in here, you get all of the Dark Ages stuff that I have right now. Okay, so as you can see, the music's playing. As you can see, I love this stuff. I love this. It's wonderful. For the Lord RPG is just a blast. I'm a 45-year veteran GM, DM. I've played all the different RPGs out there, and they're fun, but they're not. This is fulfilling. This is a ministry. It's a fellowship. It's fulfilling on every level, including the RPG OSR addiction level. That feeding of that storytelling. You're a Christian. Please get this game. It's enjoyable, and support me. I want your money. I don't want your money because I need it, or I want it because I want you and me to have that wonderful transaction. You invest in it, and you feel like everything I've gotten for free I never use. I was part of that whole culture of when we used to get all the free software, pirated software back in the CG, when we were CG animators and stuff. I knew so many guys that just had all this stuff. They're told like, yeah, go, they got all these pirated softwares of everything, all the tools and stuff, and I was like, they never did anything with it. They never did anything. When I bought a couple little tools, I used them. When I paid for them, I used them and enjoyed it, and I loved that aspect of it, using what I got. Anyway, also, I want contributors. I want you guys to make adventures. I want you to create things. Now, it's Christian. I'm obviously very Christian and Protestant, whatever, Reformed, Calvinist. But Catholics, Orthodox, very happy to have you on board. It's just about evangelism, planting churches, and evangelizing only on the sense of wanting to plant churches. That topical, first surface level, emotional, a little bit of apologia, a little bit of right there, not theology, deep theology, just the part where we're trying to get civilized, we're trying to church up and civilize the land. That's all I'm interested in personally at this point. I'm not interested in the deep theology stuff, legalism arguments that we all have. I'm just not interested. There'll be time enough for that later. All right, when we're in front of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit, there'll be time for that. Right now, we have a problem in this culture, so I need contributors. If you guys want to create adventures and create modules and things like that for this, please do. Again, Orthodox, Catholic, or the Calvinisty, Protestanty types, Reformed Baptist or Baptist. I don't know the exact terms. I'm not interested in working with Mormons, Jehovah's, or any other religions. Or I don't know what other progressive Christian progressives, Christians, and not, you know, if you go do your RPG pagan stuff, that's fine. You know, you can, I mean, I can't stop you from taking this and then stealing it and then creating your own stuff. I can't stop you from doing it, but I am not going to be a part of that. You know, you can, you know, anyone can take an RPG's rules, change it up a bit, and then make it their own. You know, so you can do that. You can do that with 17,000 other RPGs. But as far as like me supporting you or wanting or letting you into this little fold of people that I have right now, it's got to be adherent to like creation science, biblically creation science, the Bible, you know, the traditional Christian stuff. Anyway, all right. And the reason I like too Protestant, Catholic, and Orthodox is because that those three wings are big part of medieval history, building up of Europe and stuff, and Eastern Europe and Europe, so, and Christendom. Anyway, all right, in the game of life, man, what a video, what a weird babbling video. Thank you for watching to the end, and in the game of life, roll holy dice.